Welcome to Think Global Education Services. Today we are going to look at main idea question. One of the question that uh, you anyways have to know, even if the question is asked by the passage or not, because main idea of the entire passage helps you solve all the other type of questions. Also, a few students try doing the main idea question as the first question because then they feel that their mind is not biased towards one or the other opinion based on all the specific questions they have done. The other approach is that you do main idea questions towards the end after you have done all the other questions because now you have read the passage multiple times, and you know the passage better. For now, I will leave it up to you. How do you want to take this? But know that main idea means that it will cover the entire passage, information from all the passage. It should not be that you're finding the main idea option correct as option C, but that targets only the first three paragraphs and it doesn't target the other paragraphs. Main idea means why did the author write it? As simple. So what we have to do, like if you have already seen my other video in which I was explaining you how to speed read the passage or skim read the passage. Once you have understood the passage, in the passage, if you know that why is the author writing P1, P2, P3, and then how is he concluding? So what really happened? Why did he write all of it? That is what your main idea is. Okay, so until in all the other videos of mine that you must have seen by now, we were doing just one paragraph, of the entire passage, and then I was telling you, so this is the paragraph, this is where the question is, find the answer. For main idea, I cannot of course do that. So in the next page you will see the entire passage. Now what I want you to do is, if you have already referred to all the other videos, then it's time to look at this passage. If you have not, please refer to the skimming video first and then come back here. I want you to pause the video over here. Look at this passage. Time yourself for only 1 minute. Okay. Let's see where do you read it, reach in 1 minute. Then whatever part is left, time yourself for another 1 minute and complete it. If you're able to complete it before these 2 minutes, it's great. Otherwise, you need a lot of work. Okay, so this is the passage. Pause your video over here and see if you can quickly go through all the content that's over here within 2 minutes. Okay, so I assume you have read the video, read the passage now. So did you, if you have already seen the other video of mine, did you ask yourself if you are still looking for all the words which we don't have to look? Yeah, if you're doing that, it's okay, it's normal, but that's something you need to practice. So I want you to think that now from all this passage, all the details that you read and that were just unnecessary, you know, we don't need it in order to prove the main idea. Some information was just repeated because it's a literature kind of passage, and basically it's just telling you stories. So of this story, what exactly could you have avoided? That's what needs practice, and you should definitely practice. And in order to practice, you don't really have to uh, look for all the SAT passages. You can read any other content, any blog you like, or news channel, or sports, or anything. You can open on web and start reading the content over there and see if you're still able to follow the skimming approach. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to skim over here the type of words that you should have read and what happens in each paragraph before we look at the question time. Okay. So this will be a overall practice of main idea. Let's see. So what do? We go through the first paragraph, make some notes that this is what the first paragraph is all about. If you want to circle, underline, that's up to you. Okay. All right, there was only one source of beauty and light for me in this ninth grade. So, me means the author is talking. It's not a passage where he's referring to someone else. Author self involvement. This is something that your mind should tell you when you read this line. I anticipated seeing Eugene. So, I have another character, Eugene. So, I have I and Eugene, two characters now. Eugene, his family, moved into house. I could see the place from bedroom. So I'm talking about all that I could do. Okay, so maybe I could just simply say that, all right, more description until over the year I have become, no, I'm just going through the full stop, reading a few words and saying that, oh, extra details, let's not read it. Over the years, this happened. I could not hear. I knew they were arguing, so I know that the person, the author, can find out what's happening at the other place. I knew all this by watching. So when I was watching during the meal time, I could see the table. If they argued, then what happened? One of the time was sick. The old man died. The house stood empty. So author said that I could see, I can peep into somebody else's house, and all this used to happen in the other person's house. Author also mentioned another character, Eugene, and said that now I'm looking, now this character is there. So like I can see this character. So one house, two family. In one family there was a death, another family there is only character and no other information given in this paragraph. Let's look at the next paragraph. Eugene's family moved in. Yeah, it was time to mountain to eat. The farmer had also. Okay, so now the description of how the house was. I didn't see all of these. I didn't see the family. I was just the mother of all of these. I got up in the morning. I only saw on the weekend. I like to write. So this is again I kept him company on my fire escape. So I'm all talking about how I am related to Eugene and the house, what all I can see, and how the author enjoys looking at the other house. So all of that is given up over here. Yeah. Let's look at the next paragraph. Once school started, I looked up for him in all my classes. But 13 was a huge place. I managed to run into him in the building. I decided to approach him directly. My stomach was doing something. So here, now the interaction. Until here, I could see the house. I knew this family was there. I knew this guy was there as the author. In the school, this paragraph says that I wanted to see the guy, and then maybe I saw the guy. Yeah, somewhere. So details I'm not reading right now. If the question asks me, I'll come back to this paragraph for how was the first encounter of both people. I was ready for rejection, is what it says. So that means this girl is expecting Eugene to maybe like her. He smiled, pushed up the glasses. He liked me. I did not do all of it. So again, I can leave this paragraph here. I know how the interaction went. It went positive. So neutral, a little sadness, then neutral, then hopeful, again neutral, and over here a little positive. Okay. I did not tell Eugene that I could see. So some information. I also knew my mother wasn't happy. Then he kept assuring. So now I've moved on from Eugene to my own house. So this paragraph talks about my own house. Any question related to that, I'll refer to this paragraph. But after meeting Eugene, I began to think all of this. I began to think of my future. Most of all, I wanted to sit down in the kitchen and all of it, like the previous couple. So, first paragraph, only about her and the other house. Second paragraph, about the family. Third paragraph, about how she wanted to meet the person. Fourth paragraph, happiness. Fifth paragraph, only information. Sixth paragraph, about her own family. And the final paragraph, where she talks about herself. So the only place where she talks about herself is that now I want to be with Eugene and see the kitchen and talk and everything else. So that's the entire paragraph. Now, why do you think author wrote it? Ask yourself. Is it because author wanted to inform about Eugene? Author wanted to inform about the family of this girl? Why is the author writing it? An author is the person herself. It's I. Because if you see the conclusion, in the conclusion she came up that this is me. Everywhere else it was she and something else, but in the last paragraph she came up and said that I want to do all of this. So I have everything else prepared by my family here, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm not even telling my family, but I know that there is something of mine. Okay, that's the reason I wrote it. Now let's go to the question. Main idea of this passage is A. Difficulty of first starting and then maintaining friendship. Well, in the first two paragraphs, you never started the friendship. So that this part only takes care of two paragraphs, just these two paragraphs. And then maintaining a friendship was not even the difficulty. It's only a thought. So goes out. B, process of making a new friend and how the friendship changes the narrator. Okay, so the process is somewhere here that first I saw, then I approached, then maybe something new friend was there and friendship is changing the narrator. So keep it, and let's come back to it later. Problems the narrator has dealing with the loss of her former neighborhood. So somebody died here, but even before saying that this person died, the author started talking about Eugene and the family, which means that there were no such problems. That no, they left and now. I mean, there was a slight introduction that the entire garden had a lot of weed, but that's exactly not a problem, right? So no problems as such. C goes out, A goes out. B. Differences in the lives led by two pair of adults who at different times lived in the same building. Okay, so now differences are discussed. Yes, that is correct. So first family was, like a very loving type of family. They always were in the kitchen. I mean, they could be seen in the kitchen and they were holding hands and everything. But this family did not do all of that. Differences in the lives led by two pair of adults. Yes, that's there. But now you see, compare B and D. B says process of making a new friend and how the friendship changes the narrator. So did the narrator change? Well, yes, to some extent, because now she can take her own decision. And in every paragraph, I could see her making a friend. So you ask yourself, the process of making a new friend was everywhere. However, the differences of two pair were not clearly discussed. They are there, yes, but that's not the whole idea of writing the passage. That's what we have to remember when we solve these type of questions. D is correct. It was there as a part of detail question, not as a part of main idea question. So if the question asks you that in these particular lines, what is happening? The lines where it specifically talks about how Eugene family is different from the prior neighbors, the earlier family. So B is not totally incorrect, but that doesn't answer this particular question. In this question, if I look at every paragraph, we are talking about this is how I was, this is how Eugene came, this is how I thought he'll be Fred, this is how I approached him, and basically I had already thought this is what I'll do, but what did I end up doing is to think about my own future with Eugene. So that means I have changed. All right, so B is the correct answer. Main idea questions are tricky, time consuming, but you could really be good at it. It's easier than many other type of questions once you have your hand on the correct way how SAT wants you to think. All right, we'll keep it till here for today, and I will see you in another video. Thank you for watching.